As the world's most popular non-chocolate candy, we consume 70 billion Skittles every year.
But have you ever thought about how this fruity staple makes it to the candy aisle? Despite their success, we have no original inventor to credit.
As their earliest origins are long forgotten. However, we do know that they were first created in 1970s England.
As a fruity alternative to M&Ms. Happily for Mars, the English loved them. So, in 1979, they decided to...
Of course, the crispy yet chewy candy immediately captivated American taste buds. And in 1982, Mars was so confident in its success, they built their first American Skittles factory in Waco, Texas.
Purple one. In the UK, it was, and still is, flavored with the quintessentially English blackcurrant fruit.
But Mars felt this wasn't quite light for American consumers and went with the more familiar grape instead. But do the 5 colors really taste different?
Thanks to an outrageous claim by a food scientist that went viral, there's a rumor that all Skittles have the same flavor.
And it's just the fragrance of each colored shell that tricks us. So, let's check out what happens inside the Mars Wrigley.
The first stage in the Skittles making process is mixing the ingredients required for the chewy cores. These include sugar,
corn syrup, and hydrogenated palm kernel oil. It's hydrogenated because the added hydrogen makes the liquid oil a solid at room temperature.
Then, contrary to rumors, each flavor is made in a different mixer.
and various secret combinations of fruit juices, citric acid, and flavorings are added to give the core of each color its own unique taste.
After mixing, the batches are heated, turning them into a thick paste that looks almost exactly like cake batter, but much stickier. This is then poured into molds, pressed, and cooled to form tiny toffee-like pellets. In the factory, these are also known as lentils because of their shape.
Up next, the lentils, still separated by flavor, are transported by conveyor belt to the coating area.
Here, they embark on an epic 6-hour process known as panning. The technical term for this piece of equipment is a dragé pan. It's a large spherical metal pan mounted at an angle on a spinning post, and its unique design is how all candies, like
each flavor batch is added to its own pan and set to rotate constantly.
As the candies tumble around, small amounts of flavored and colored syrup are added. This syrup coats each.
The coats have to dry fully before the next is applied. And in total, a whopping 43 layers of hard candy.
Temperature, humidity, pan speed, syrup consistency, and quantity are carefully controlled throughout the process. Overheating would result in disaster, where the Skittles would become misshapen or stuck together in a huge glob.
Blasts of air are sometimes used to separate the candies and cool the pan. After the final layer of shell is fully dry,
Wax is added to the pan, which acts as a polish and gives Skittles their trademark shine. Wrigley used to apply a layer of shellac, which is a resin secreted by the lac bug. Fortunately though, the company decided to go completely bug-free and vegetarian.
In 2009, once the shells are polished to a high shine, the 5 flavors are finally mixed together at the blending belt.
Large conveyor belt is fed by multiple hoppers, each containing a different colored candy. The idea is that they each feed in small amounts of each flavor, creating an even spread of colors across the belt. Certain conspiracy theorists will tell you that there are always more of the least popular lemon flavor in every bag. But Mars Wrigley promises all colors are blended evenly. However, it's not an exact science.
So, there are 371,292 potential flavor combinations up for grabs.
after mixing, there's just one step left. They need their trademark S. To apply the letters, the Skittles are first shaped,
perfectly aligning them for printing. Then, a series of S's are printed on a rubber roller in insoluble edible ink. Finally, the Skittles move under the roller and are stamped as they go. Of course, the actual technology is incredibly tricky to master and a closely guarded secret.
The roller has to apply just enough pressure to stamp the S, but not crack the shell.
And the ink has to be just the right consistency to transfer clearly without dripping or smudging. This is why we don't see printed.
At last, the finished Skittles are ready for packaging.
The bags come on giant rollers like ribbons or tape.
One for the front side and one for the back.
Next, it precisely weighs each portion of Skittles, pours them into a pouch, and heat seals the top to create the finished bag.
The transcription for the provided video and audio is, finally, the bags are transported by conveyor.
And that's how 200 million Skittles are produced every single day, allowing millions of customers to taste the rainbow. And if that slogan sounds familiar, it's because it was dreamt up in 1994.
Making it one of the longest-running advertising campaigns of all time. Cementing Skittles in pop culture history.